Hello, all my beautiful heart healers and all my amazing listeners. This is Harayeth. I hope y'all are having an awesome day. It's been a pretty good day here. It's Friday, so that's always a good thing. I hope you have had a good week and that things haven't been too hard. There is something that occurred in my own life a few weeks ago, and I felt like it would probably be a cool thing to talk about on the podcast, and I'm sure that a lot of us deal with this from time to time. So today's message is called Check Your Baggage. It is all about baggage, and we've all got it. So we need to check it and not claim it. So especially as empaths, we probably have even more of a tendency to hold on to baggage that we don't want, that we don't need, because of our emotions. You know, we are very emotional people. We operate on an emotional level more so than what maybe most folks do. And as a result, that can make it harder for us to let those things go. But even if you're not an empath, baggage is always difficult. Whether it's from past relationships or stuff from when you were growing up, or things at school, or just a multitude of different things. But baggage is never easy. It's never easy to let go of, and it causes trust issues because you could be around someone that is very trustworthy, but because of what you've been through, there's that little radar that you have, and unfortunately sometimes that radar is right, but there can also be just that general guard that you keep around your heart, around your emotions and things. And so when you see something that looks similar to something that you have already been through, it can make you definitely be wary and very cautious, and can make you react as though it's the same thing happening again. And as I'm sure you're well aware, this can cause a lot of issues in your relationships, whether it's romantic, friendships, work situations, anything you can think of. If you've been through that, then it's very hard to let go of that. But what we need to remember is that as hard as it is, we have to give everyone a fresh start. And when I say that, I mean like people that are new in our lives, situations that are new, because the unfortunate thing is, yes, of course, there is always that tendency that things could happen the same way again. But there's also the possibility that it might not. And you don't want to create a problem where there's not a problem. And sometimes we can do that because we are reacting from a place of fear. And fear is never good, because you're giving energy and credence to negative things that happened in your life. You don't want to give those things power. You don't want to give that power over you or over your relationships or anything like that, because here you are, you're out here trying to be this awesome person and live your best life and trying to raise your vibration and trying to make a difference in life and in other people's lives, and then all of a sudden this little ugly thing likes to rear its head and it brings you down, and it just kind of sucks you back in a little bit. And so you need to be aware when you see that happening. And this is going to be tough. I know it. It's tough for me. And it's hard for anybody. But the minute you see that starting to happen, you need to be like, nope, just stomp it down, picture a big old red X mark across that situation or something. And I know that sounds funny, but that's actually something that I have done. And it just kind of helps me think like, nope, I'm going to cancel this out. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give into it. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be that way. You don't want to drag other people into a mess that you've been through. that they don't deserve it, They didn't do anything. They weren't the people involved in that situation. And it means you're going to have to act like you've not been hurt. You're going to have to come from a place of love and trust and like a childlike innocence, really. That process of being willing to start over fresh with each new person. And yeah, it means you're going to be opening up your heart to get hurt, and I understand that. But the problem is, we're going to get hurt anyway. Especially if you're an empath, that's just the way it is, because we do wear our hearts on our sleeves, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a person who feels and loves enough that I do that. But yeah, it does mean that I open myself up a lot more than probably your typical person does. And it's going to require strength and bravery on your part. But you know what? I know that you can do it. It's going to be good for you in the long run, because for one thing, it's going to be healing as you practice that in your life. And you might not always be successful with it. So, if you fail a little bit, don't be too hard on yourself. But just realize that it's something you need to conquer. Look at it as a fear that you need to overcome. It's something that's standing in your way of happiness and possibly having good relationships. Maybe you're a person who, it seems like no matter what relationship you get into, the same things happen over and over again. And it could be that if you're like me in my past, maybe you just had really bad luck or really bad taste in who you chose to share your life with. Or, it could be that part of it is maybe you've kind of helped unwittingly create those situations. Maybe you came from a place of distrust. Maybe somebody just really tore your heart out. And so now whenever you may be attracted to a certain type of person, maybe, which kind of sets you up for that, which that's something that we might even cover in an upcoming podcast about that kind of thing. But also when you start to see certain things shape up, and and I'm not saying your intuition isn't telling you, you might be right, but that's not the point, whether you're right or wrong. The point is that unless you have 100% solid proof, you have to try not to act on that. Try not to act as though the person that you're with now is the person that broke your heart 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Because all that's going to do is just create more issues. And then that person, they may actually, whereas they wouldn't have done things before, they might say well, this person thinks I'm doing this. You know what? I'm going to do it. It's just something that you need to overcome. So baggage comes in many, many forms. And you might not even realize that you still have it. You might think it's something that you got rid of a long time ago, and you're bopping along and enjoying life, and then all of a sudden, bam, comes up and knocks you in the back of the head, and it says, "Here I am." And you're like, well, hell, I thought you were gone. So, and it'll sneak up on you sometimes too, when you least expect it. So just be aware, be cautious, and just realize that as long as you are carrying that baggage, it is going to be difficult to overcome and do and be who and what you want to be, because that's something that's going to hold you back. And you are an awesome person, okay? Because, and it's like I've said before, and I know I say it in all my podcasts, or a lot of my podcasts, but I say those things because I feel like they bear repeating. And, if you've come across my podcast once on an accident, you're like, what the heck is this girl talking about? And you didn't listen to it again, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine, and I'd get that. But if you've come back and listened to more of my podcasts, because I know what my heart is, and I know I'm just trying to kind of be a little bright spot as much as I can be, just like all of you are. So if you're listening to this podcast, that tells me that you are that kind of person too. And you don't need to let anything or anyone hold you back from being your best, because you're too good for that. You don't need to let what some old ex-Joe Schmo or Jill Schmo, I just made that up or whatever, but you don't need to let them ruin your future. I mean, they already messed up your past. Don't let them get to you in the future too, because you're better than that. And then that way, when that happens, that person is still, in a way, actually still has control over you. They're controlling your emotions, your thoughts, how you feel. They're controlling your future relationships, and you don't need that. So yeah, don't give anyone any more control over you or any more power to harm you than what they've already done. Just let that go, and you holding on to that baggage, they could care less. They don't know or care that you're still hurt, or that what they have done to you has caused issues for you in your life. They do not care. And they are not worth one little iota of your time, other than to hope that they someday wake up and become better people. But beyond that, I know it's tough, but just let that baggage go. In this airport of life, we don't want to claim that baggage. We're going to check it and leave it. And it's like I said, I've dealt with this myself, and I still deal with baggage too. I've got things in my past some things that I thought I had overcome, and lo and behold, I haven't. So, preaching to myself on that too. But anyway, I'm just going to leave you guys with this little thought. Just remember that you are way too good for that. And don't let that baggage ruin your life. Don't let it ruin your relationship. Don't let it ruin your job. Don't let it, And, I'm actually going to go off on a tangent here too. I'm going to also say that sometimes bad habits can go along with that baggage. So while you're getting rid of your baggage, watch out for the old habits too. And while you're trying to, become a better person and reinvent yourself, or, make things better for yourself, any old habits that you see start to crop up that are a problem, get rid of them. Squash them. Don't let them in. Don't let them even get back started, because you know where that's going to take you. And I don't know, there's lots of different kinds of habits, and I won't go into them here, but if you have something that's been bad for you, or that's almost destroyed you maybe, or messed up a relationship, and if it was something that you could help, then now's a good time for you to let go of that type of baggage as well. So the baggage is not necessarily always what other people have done. Sometimes it's what we have done to ourselves. It can be a case of where we have shortchanged ourselves or settled for something, or maybe gone along with the crowd because we thought it was the thing to do, or whatever the situation was. Or it could be, maybe a group of people that you hang around that pull you into things that you shouldn't be doing. Those kinds of things too, it can make it really hard for you. And unless you stand up and be like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to stoop to this level. I'm not going to let this dictate my life anymore. Nothing will change. So while you're getting rid of baggage and trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, then also watch out for your personal baggage of things that will try to hook you in and bring you down to a lower depth than what you deserve to be. So this is Hooray signing off. Thank you again so much for listening to my podcast. I appreciate y'all so much, and I just thank you. And when I see the listens and things on my little podcast, and it just thrills my heart, because I feel like maybe you guys are getting something out of it. And I love talking to y'all. I really do. And thank you so much to those of you who have written me and messaged me and talked to me and let me know that you enjoy this, because that is so good for my heart. I love that. It just makes me smile. So all of you have a wonderful weekend, and I love y'all, and take care of yourselves. And remember, check that baggage. We're not going to claim it. All right. We'll talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye-bye.